For a while now, we've heard about people talking about how people's bosses can be horrible, terrible, or in fact, the devil themselves in human form. You're welcome to the podcast. This is Mendem. I am Super OG. Today, I'm talking with one of my former colleagues. We used to be, she used to love me, but things have happened these days. This life, my brothers, guard your heart to women, very, very jealous. Anyway, I have on the show today, I have my former co-host when we were at Inspiration FM Ibadan together, Oluwatobi Bombardier, Beatrice Olalekon. You're welcome.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And how is your boyfriend today?
And my name is Bombardier, by the way.
How is your boyfriend
amazing.
today?
It's great. It's great. Thank you.
Oh my God. So Toby, tell us now, who are you? Who's Toby Beatrice Olalekon Bombardier?
My name is Bombardier. There's Bombardier in my name. Anyway, I am... let me just say I'm a communications executive because I come across media, that's broadcast media. I currently work in public relations, but I also have a professional certification in human resources. So, yeah.
Okay, I've been looking for Toby to record this podcast for a while. She's just something else. Anyway.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, Toby, you're welcome to the podcast. So, because you have an insight of being an HR, I think you have you should have an interesting balance of opinions when it comes to these things. So, why did you leave radio, first of all, to go into HR per se after radio? What happened?
First off, if you're going to do radio for the money, you're in for a big surprise. There's no money in radio. There's no staff up there.
Wow.
Let's leave that one right there.
Landicap.
But I'm a huge lover of radio. I love radio. Like, I actually thought I was not going to do anything outside of radio for a very long time. But then I was in Ibadan and I was looking to leave Ibadan. Like, I was literally tired. I just wanted to do like something new. I wanted to actually move into radio in Lagos. I understand that it looks so glamorous and the pay does not necessarily correspond with what we do, but the passion, I'll just say that the passion. I really love radio. It's something I really enjoy doing. It's like something you can wake me up from sleep and I'm like in character already. Like I'm doing it. So that's it. But I wanted to move to Lagos for radio.
Okay.
But then the job opportunity I got in Lagos was totally different, something I've never done before. I've never done it 9 to 5 before. And I was like, oh, okay, let me just try it out. I'm young, so like I still have time. Let me just try it out and just see what's up on this side of life. This is actually cool. I knew that it's going to be very different from what I was doing in radio because I used to work at night. I've done all the shifts, but then I was working at night before I left radio.
Working at night with? Working at night with who?
Yeah, I was working at night with
your boyfriend, Abby?
Ogo-oluwa
Nonsense.
I did carry on. Yeah, Leonardo. I was working with him at night, but then we were actually tired, sort of tired of what was going on there. Like, we're not, like, our efforts were not being rewarded and all of that. So I had the opportunity to come to Lagos, and it was with a training firm. So it's like a certification. So what they do is that they train professionals in, like, different spaces, human resources and the like, to get their professional certifications so that they can have knowledge of best practices, and especially for those that are willing to relocate to other countries, so they don't have to start from the scratch looking for jobs. So if you are certified by a professional body, you can actually practice HR outside of Nigeria. So, and other fields like project management, business analysis, like that. So that's what they do. I started, I was like, okay, it's worth a shot. And I was going to come to Lagos. I wanted to come too because I was tired of Ibadan.
And then you came to Lagos.
And so I made this switch to that side of life. And venturing into it, I had to like take up the course just for actually rudimentary knowledge. But then it went above that because I got additional, like, let me say, tasks at work to start training people as well. It just started as
training people in what?
Kind of,
training people in what?
Professionals in HR actually. So I had to do my own professional exam.
To
be able to like train other people. So that was what I did. I had to do my professional exam in human resources. I did it on the remote of joining the company. Yes, I'm bad like that. I'm so brilliant. I'm going to my own arm. So I went through the course, I took the examination and I passed it. And so I started training other people as well in human resources, like global best practices of human resources. So yeah.
Global.
And as I moved from the radio girl
to HR girl. Okay, global,
But after the radio girl, don't go there.
If you like, don't be a radio girl. Nonsense. Boyfriend girl. Anyway,
Wow.
now we we need to go to the. This actually is why you're here, because I believe you know or you have an idea of best practices of what human resource should be about, or what it is about. So, do you think the Nigerian work culture encourages good or good practice? Let's never go to best practices. Let's say good practice of human resources in workspaces.
Okay, so for good practice now, there are things that are laid down according to the Nigerian labor law, right? But we know the country that we are in. A lot of people just tend to do things according to what they feel is good for their business, right? So they don't necessarily they only pick like parts that they feel like, oh, they cannot do without. So they have to like enforce it, because if you don't, like, you can get sued and all of that. Even though we know that most people these days, nobody wants to go through the back and forth of having a court case
legal
and
steps,
anything with your employees and all of that. So they take the most important things and then enforce them. Like now, in most companies, you hear about the one that is very common is about resignation, that you have to like tender like a 1 month notice. So if you actually are resigning, if you don't give a 1 month notice, you have to pay in lieu for not giving the notice. That means you have to pay the salary for the month that you are supposed to actually get.
Toby, so let me ask you, because that was part of the rule. The rule at Inspiration FM was that you would have to forfeit the previous month or something like that. I think that was the rule.
Yes, it depends. It depends. That's why I said every company like tries to like do what they feel will suit them. Okay.
Now, just chill. I want to ask, like, is that practice part of global best practices?
It's not. Okay, so for IFM, what happened when I left was, I resigned. I did not know about this, because that's one thing. Your policy and your handbook in your company has to categorically state everything that is going to find how the company operates, how employees are going to be treated. Everything is stated expressly in your policy, your handbook, for how anything that's going to do with your company is stated there. And also in the contract that you sign, you're supposed to actually expressly read through it. If there's need for a lawyer, let your employee get a lawyer to explain terms to them, so that you know what you're getting into. Because more often than not, people sign what they don't understand.
True.
Right? Exactly.
But getting a lawyer, getting a lawyer to look at work contract, don't you think some Nigerians would think that's a little bit extreme?
It's not, because when they send you an offer letter, they are stating, oh, this is what we're offering you. Employment contract is going to be shitty. That's what expressly details the contract between two of us. How I'm going to work for you and what you're going to do in return for me working for you. Right? Anything that's not stated in the contract, you can't hold me accountable for it. You get. So if I sign, that means I've already accepted everything stated as rules of the engagement between me and you as two parties. So it's very, very key for you to understand what you're signing. For some companies, they don't ask you for 1 month. They tell you it's 2 weeks notice. Some people it's 1 month. Some people, they don't even require a notice at all. If you feel like you want to leave, you can up and leave. In some countries, you don't even need to give a notice. If you are done, you are done. You can resign and carry your bags. I think in the US, that's how it is. You can resign and not that you tell them a month in leave that you are leaving. And the reason for telling them here in Nigeria is that within that period, they want to find a worthy replacement for you to transition you out of the role and the person into the role. So you may need to train somebody to take on the responsibilities that you've been assigned to, so that work can actually move on smoothly when you are leaving. That's the reason for the 1 month in leave. But not every business owner looks at that way. So people are very emotional about when people are leaving. And it's always like, whoa, when your employee is resigning, which is not supposed to be so. So it's not supposed to be like that, you get. But most people don't understand what they sign. And because people don't understand what they sign, employers of labor tend to like
take advantage.
Like when they tell you something, exactly. When you can put everything there, but they know you will not read it. You just want to get the job and you just want to sign it and just start work. You get. So when they don't tell you, you signed this, So when they explained to me that they told me that your employer of labor can actually pay for you to actually resume work immediately. So instead of you paying in due to the company, your employer of labor can pay the company that you are leaving. It's possible as well. So like it was explained to me and I was like, well, see, I'm not even in for this. Let me just carry my bag and be going. I'm not doing the back and forth with you guys. So that was it. Because I did not really understand what I was going into. I was young and I did not really read the code. I just had to sign and just go. I was just concerned about the money, even though the money was not but then it's alright.
Alright, now Toby the money girl, Mrs. Money. Well done. Okay, let's go to the next concern I have. So, we've asked now, and from everything I've heard from you, it looks like in Nigeria you just have to go to work and pray that you have good people there, because
honestly, like when you're getting into, there are a lot of things to actually look out for when you're going to a place of work.
Before we get there, I want to ask you now, is it because we like a lot of workplaces offer ambiguous or very big and fat contracts that people will not want to really just click I agree or just sign the stuff and just move on? Do you think that's why we have in Nigeria we have terrible work culture? Is the reason we have horrible bosses?
No, I would say that because culture differs from company to company, and what makes up culture is not just about culture. Like every day of life, I would operate, I would run. Is basically what culture is. So all your processes, your policies, your procedures, all of them makes up your culture. And actually, I don't know why I want to go deep into HR, but let me just say, we have 3 layers of culture. There is the espoused values. What's that? When you enter an organization, you can easily see. The mode of dressing. You know that when you enter the organization, the way they dress is corporate. It's something that you can easily see. There's some things that are underlying. It's just like you have an iceberg, and what you can see at the top, that part, that's the first layer. Then there's another layer which is like beneath the sea level, and there's another one that is like deep down, which is based on the founders of the company, how they've like things that they've already like put into the company that unless you ask questions, you cannot know how these things run. So there are different layers of culture, and it differs from company to company. So I will not say that the contract that you sign would actually be because people don't read it. That's why cultures are not like they are terrible work culture. More often than not, culture comes from the leaders in the company. It's the leaders that actually form the culture. If I'm going to build a company right now, what I need, if I say that resumption time is 8 a.m. and me as a person, I resume 7:30, and in there I was working, resumption time was 7:45. But if you come to work 7:45, you are late.
Why?
Like everybody will be looking at you like, are you serious? Like, are you really coming 7:45? Because you have to be seated for devotion at least
morning devotion.
Yes. And devotion can take something like from 30 minutes to 2 hours in the morning before you start any work that day. And devotion does not necessarily mean prayers and singing. Devotion there is like you probably say a word of prayer, and then they have somebody come up to talk about something. We're talking about gossiping in the workplace as devotion. You get honestly, like there are different things that can make up devotion. So it could take anything from 30 minutes to 2 hours, and you sit there
2 hours
and somebody just going on and on and on and on. It's not a meeting though, it's devotion. Not like you guys will talk. Somebody will talk, the boss will come and talk, and then you go and start your day. You can start your day by 10 a.m., 10:30. And you've been at work.
You'll be tired already now. Won't you be tired already?
My dear, 7:30 at least you've been at work. Because there was even a time that they were rotating people that will be opening the gates of your.
My God.
Yeah. So you have to come to work by at least 7 o'clock. And that one talking about culture. I mean, the owner of the office sometimes comes 6:30, 7. So anybody that comes by 7:45, you are looked at like, you are late. Why are you at work by 7? Even though on your letter it actually states that it's 7:45 that is resumption time. You get it's actually 8 o'clock, but 7:45 is let's say that great of the city.
Yeah.
Arrive. But you cannot do that. That's part of the culture in that.
So now you
also,
know.
if
Okay.
closing by 5, you cannot leave by 5. It's part of the culture in that place. So those are the things that make up culture. That's why I say it differs from company to company. And most often that you can't see it in the contract that you actually need to sign. It's when you actually enter, you know what's up.
Wow. In fact,
yeah.
I don't even know what to say, but I think it now begs the question: what can be done? Because I don't even know what to say. Weeks ago, there was this, we had a barrage of opinions on horrible bosses. People held Twitter spaces, what have you, and everything. So, what do you think can be done to create, a very healthy workspace for the average Nigerian, for a small business or a big business? Let's say now you want to advise a business owner and also advise, a prospective employee. What things would you tell them to just have in mind in order to create a very healthy workspace?
First things first, be a good person.
Be a what?
Be a good person. There's nothing you can't.
Be a what?
Be a good person. Some people are just terrible people. You understand? I'm serious. Because if you're a good boss, things that you put in place, the way you treat your members of staff, you will not be talking in condescending manner to your members of staff. You would actually appreciate their work. People actually want to work in a place that they can feel like they have rest of mind. Like, people we have horrible bosses, we have horrible employees. I mean, they're able to be watching movies on the time of the company and they expect to take on full salary. I mean, what kind of witchcraft is that?
Like Toby, just yesterday or today now, there was news like that a station in Ibadan laid off 4 staff a month after giving them work, and it's just I don't even know what to say. It speaks to the heart of what we're saying.
Yeah, there are different ways to look at that. So I think that during their recruitment process, they did not do due diligence because they were talking about some things. 1 month is too short a time to say that somebody was fired for gross misconduct unless the person participated in fraud. Because for disciplinary measures, there are levels to it. First, give like a verbal warning, a first warning, a second warning. You probably put the person on a performance improvement plan to see how the person is faring over time. Then you give probably like a letter of warning before you can now eventually sack somebody.
Wow.
It's called progressive discipline.
Progressive
discipline. So it's like about 4 stages before you actually reach the termination. Only like fraud, probably sexual harassment. Those are the things that can say outright termination of appointment.
Wow.
You get, or probably you signed like probably a non-compete in like you can't work for another organization while working for us. You signed that kind of clause, but then you still work for another organization. They can actually lay you off if it was stated expressly in that contract that if you are found doing this, you'll be laid off. You understand? So gross misconduct actually does vary. So you have to actually define what gross misconduct is. You can't just make it ambiguous and say there's gross misconduct. What defines gross misconduct?
Wow. So Toby, back to the question. Advising a new boss. You said being a good person, and advising a new employee too.
Be a good person. Another thing is to have structure. A lot of people run businesses on emotion. That's why we have a lot of horrible people. Because you feel, oh my God, this is my business. This is not taking me like I would take it, and stuff like that. When you put structure in place, people that are supposed to be handling things, let them actually handle it and give you reports. So, like if there's let's say, a chain of command that's put in place, that this person is overseeing this, and if these people are not doing well, this is what will happen to you, and you have power to actually do this to these people, put adequate structure in place. They'll not leave for this to be the CEO actually talking to the staff, telling you, like, are you so stupid? Why are you so daft? And all of that. Most of these times, it's emotions that actually come to play and overrules good judgment. The first of be a good person. Second thing is to put adequate structure in place. Those two things are very, very necessary for you to actually say, oh, you want to have a very healthy work environment. Put yourself in people's shoes as well. Like, so some people, for some companies, or let's say out of the country, there's something called COLA, cost of living adjustment. Like the way we have like inflation and all of that now. In some countries, they give you like a stipend to actually add to probably a salary because of the way things are going on in the economy.
There's no COLA in Nigeria. Na COLA not there. Huh? I said COLA not in Nigeria. Na COLA not.
Yeah, so like be a good person, put that structure in place. That's going to actually help your business. And don't run on emotions. I know it's your baby. It's what you don't sleep at night, but don't wake up people at 12 a.m. Because I think like just be a good person. Be a good person, really. It can't wait till the next morning. I understand it's your life savings and everything that you have put into it. But the thing is, if you actually treat people good and you're a good person, somebody is not doing well in your company, everybody can see that this person is not doing well. So if you actually take adequate measures as strict as like you've already made everybody know that if you do this is what is going to happen to you. And everybody can say that this person has already done this, so this has to happen. Even before you come and say this is the next thing that is happening, everybody knows that that's the next thing that is happening. So it's spelled out, not that you treat this person some type of way, and somebody does it and you overlook it because this is probably bringing in more revenue to the company.
Shots fired.
All those disparities.
Shots fired.
Those kind of disparity, you actually make sure that adequate structure is put in place. Someone that's supposed to be doing something, they are doing it. The policies have stated that if you come late to work probably 3 times in a month, you're going to get a query. Like all those deductions of salary is actually wrong. I'm not supposed to do all those kind of stuff. It's wrong according to the law. But let's move on.
Mad.
Yeah.
This has to be my final question now. On whose side should the HR be on?
Okay, now I'll say something that people probably won't have my head for. But on a 100% scale, HR is 51% business and 49% people.
Wow.
Because if the business is no more, people will leave as well. If there are no people, adequate people. See, there's something they call the right fit. If you don't employ the right fit into your organization as HR, the business might not necessarily flow. So you have to make sure that you get the people part right to actually run the business to achieve the business goals. But as HR, you are majorly about the business because you're getting the people to contribute to the business. Your loyalty does not lie with the people. It lies with the business 51% and getting the right people to actually run the business because you're also an employee of the business. When the business is no more, everybody will go. Chicken. So you have 51% business, I have 49% people.
Is that okay? So like that's the professional stance.
That's the professional stance. Okay. That's how.
No wonder. All right, now, so Toby, thanks. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, now you can go back to your. You know what? I won't say it again, but you can go back to your whatever. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and we hope that we get COLA one day soon in Nigeria.